By the late 1850s, the United States was a nation teetering on the edge of division. Years of compromise, political maneuvering, and rising tensions over the issue of slavery had failed to heal the growing sectional rift between the North and the South. In this volatile climate, the political career of Abraham Lincoln began to take shape, setting the stage for one of the most consequential elections in American history, and ultimately, civil war. Let's get started. In June of 1858, Illinois Republicans selected Abraham Lincoln as their candidate for the U.S. Senate. That very evening at the state convention, Lincoln delivered his now famous House Divided speech, warning that the country could not endure permanently, half slave and half free. Lincoln's opponent was Stephen A. Douglas, a well known Democratic senator with national influence. In order to increase his visibility, Lincoln challenged Douglas to a series of 7 debates. Beginning in July of 1858, the Lincoln Douglas debates attracted enormous crowds and significant press coverage. At the heart of these debates was the fundamental question of slavery in the territories. Douglas avoided taking a moral position, instead, asserting the Freeport Doctrine that, regardless of the Supreme Court's decision in Dred Scott, slavery could not survive in a territory unless laws were passed and enforced to protect it. Lincoln, in contrast, argued firmly against the expansion of slavery into the territories. Although Lincoln lost the Senate race, he emerged with a rising political profile and a growing national following. The 1858 elections also saw Democrats lose their majority in the U.S. House, a sign of shifting political tides. 2 years later, the presidential nominating conventions revealed just how deep the national divisions had grown. At the Democratic convention, Southern delegates refused to support Stephen Douglas, accusing him of betrayal over the Freeport Doctrine. Unable to unite, the party split. Northern Democrats nominated Douglas, while Southern Democrats chose John C. Breckenridge. The Republican Party nominated Lincoln, running on a platform that included free soil in the territories, a protective tariff, rights for immigrants, construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, and homesteads for settlers in the West. Meanwhile, concerned about the threats of Southern secession if Lincoln were elected, a group of former Whigs and moderates formed the Constitutional Union Party, nominating John Bell in hopes of preserving the Union. The election results reflected the nation's deep divisions. Lincoln won 40% of the popular vote, winning 18 free states for a total of 180 electoral votes. Vice President John C. Breckinridge won 11 states, all of them slave states, for a total of 72 electoral votes. John Bell won 3 border states for a total of 39 electoral votes, and Stephen A. Douglas won just one state, Missouri, plus some scattered votes from New Jersey for a total of 12 electoral votes. Lincoln's victory, despite not winning a single Southern state, convinced many in the South that secession was inevitable. On December 20th, 1860, South Carolina became the first state to secede from the Union. Within weeks, the lower South followed. Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and Louisiana in January, and Texas in February. In February of 1861, these states drafted a constitution closely resembling that of the United States and formed the Confederate States of America, electing Jefferson Davis as their president. Southern leaders claimed their departure was necessary to protect states' rights, particularly the right to maintain slavery from perceived Republican threats, despite Lincoln's stated lack of intent to abolish slavery where it already existed. When Lincoln took office on March 4th, 1861, he sought to calm Southern fears. He declared, "I have no purpose to directly or indirectly interfere with the institution of slavery in the states where it exists." However, he warned that acts of force to support secession were insurrectionary and could not be tolerated. In April of 1861, Fort Sumter, a federal fort in North Carolina, ran low on supplies. Lincoln ordered a relief expedition, but Confederate forces responded by bombarding the fort for 2 days. On April 14th, Union forces surrendered, and the Civil War had begun. In the aftermath, Virginia, Arkansas, Tennessee, and North Carolina seceded by May of 1861. The remaining slave states, Maryland, Delaware, Kentucky, and Missouri, stayed in the Union. In the western part of Virginia, pro Union sentiment led residents to break away, forming West Virginia, which became a Union state in December of 1862. The battle lines were drawn. The conflict that would define America's future had arrived. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.